What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Paul's Best Podcast. My guest this week is the hilarious Gianmarco Soresi.
Perfect.
And he has a special out now. Him and I have been talking about Grease before we got started, but we also were texting about musicals and Broadway plays. We're going to talk about that in a second, but I first want to thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Okay.
I don't know if this, I had a thought, and the first time meeting.
Yes.
But I made an assumption. I said, like, he's not going to want to do Broadway shows. And you said yes right away. And I said, wonderful.
Well, see, so for the people that don't, and there's nothing, the nice thing about the show is this show is nothing negative.
Yeah.
This show is all the best. It's positive. There's enough horrible shit. So what we do is that we just talk about like the best of. So I was like, oh, what could we talk about? So, I always talk to the guests about what their specialty is or what their interest is, what their passion is. And we were talking, and it was so funny because I remember something you said in your special or something, the way you were talking, and then somebody said that you were a theater guy.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, what about, in my mind, I swear to God, I was like, oh, we just went to see Glengarry, Glen Ross.
Incredible.
And we saw, I've been on Broadway. My wife is a Harry Potter nut, so we saw that on Broadway.
Yeah.
So then all of a sudden I'm thinking it, and then you go, hey, this might not be something you're into. And I was like, actually, it's what I was thinking.
I'm so glad. I was like, we could do Broadway, but it could be wider. It could just be anything on a stage. And we'll explore.
You're like,
but
we could talk about comedy movies. And I was like, no, let's stick to that. But first, I was asking you before, and we were talking about it. It is really funny how, like, when you come from Italian or Jewish or Greek or even Puerto Rican, there's just definitely cultures that when you find out somebody is a part of what you're a part of, there's just all right, like it's almost like a point. And you know who else has that? Bald guys.
Oh, really?
Yeah. When a bald guy, like if there was another bald guy in here with me, we would be like, hey, what's up? And in our mind, we'd be like, oh, this full head of hair, this fucking guy's got everything. It's like not a jealousy thing, but we have all right, we're dealing now.
Like if I wasn't in the room, would you immediately be like, how do you stay warm? Like, tips and tricks.
But you do look Italian. Do you get that?
I do.
You have is that your father?
Yes, it's definitely my father. But it's just like, Italians, Jews, they go big features. That's like the general thing. And I'm like, yeah. Italians got schnozzes.
Yes.
Jews got schnozzes.
Yes. Yep.
Big lips.
Darker eyes.
Darker eyes.
Big eyes, I would say.
I've never done the DNA test because I'm so nervous how little Italian I am. My dad exaggerates. So he raised me to think that we were like 100% Italian.
Yeah, he's Sicilian or no?
It's Sicilian.
Oh,
it is.
Me too.
So yeah. So it's there. I mean, it's real. There's a cousin, but I don't know how there is.
There's a cousin.
It was my great grandpa Luigi. We know that for sure.
Wow.
There's pictures of him right next to Mussolini, unfortunately.
Wow.
He was a manager for like a boxer and came to America, like represented that boxer, definitely involved in some shady activities.
Yeah, I mean, if he's hanging out with, Mussolini.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's
absolutely.
wild, dude.
Yeah, there's a couple pictures of him and, some dinner with Mussolini where they all, the meet and greet after the dinner. No different than what we do, really.
The meet and greet after a stand-up show.
Yes, he
and the
signed
meet and
some
greet
merch.
After Mussolini.
Yeah.
That's so funny. So he was a boxing manager? That's interesting, dude.
There was some famous boxer, big guy who... Yeah.
Isn't that cool when you find out, like, your ancestors and, like, what they've done? And, like, you find... I mean, obviously not the Mussolini thing. But, yeah, you want to be like, dude, my uncle was hanging with Hitler. You're like, dude, that's not a good... That's not a good thing. But it is interesting when you find out that, like, somebody in your family, like, even, like, so many generations removed, you're like, oh, that guy. Like, I found out that I don't know what this is to me, but my aunt's like great uncle or something was like he was on the Washington when it was the Washington Redskins and played for Vince Lombardi.
Oh my God, really?
And like is in like the Ring of Fame at that stadium.
Yeah.
And you just find out later and you're going like, oh my God, like there's some connection.
Yeah. I think it's just tough. My dad's such a liar that I think, like, I never met my grandfather on my dad's side. I think he died before I was born, but they had a bad relationship.
Okay.
But like, you find out as I get older, it's like I found out he wrote song lyrics for Rosemary Clooney, George Clooney's aunt, sang on the radio, and he wrote some lyrics. And I'm like,
oh, wow.
How did I find that at 25?
That's crazy.
Tell me when I'm a kid. I'm a theater kid.
Yeah.
But, so there's like a block. And my
Yeah.
dad just likes to think about us being Italian without getting into the details of how.
Right.
He only cares about the paternal side. I think
Right.
I'm a little bit Spanish on my grandmother's side, but my dad doesn't give a shit.
No, my father this is a true thing. And it was when I first started doing stand up where I was getting laughs, but I wasn't very good comic because I'm
Sure.
like a year or two in.
Yeah.
But my father used to say, he's like, yeah, your mother's Greek and I'm Sicilian. He goes, but you're more Sicilian because it's the father. Because like you come from me. And he was basically saying that like his sperm.
Yeah.
He's like, I created you. So even though he goes, and I was like, yeah, that's really
Was it
kind
the
of not
Immaculate Conception,
like,
but
yeah,
it's
like,
with the father?
Yeah, I was like, that's not how it works. And he was like, no, I'm the father. It's a little different. But like your dad, my dad, it was always preaching because people always tell me, including like Giannis Pappas, who's a dear friend of mine,
Yeah.
would say, you don't seem to embrace the Greek the way you embrace the Italian. And it's like, no, I love my mom. Me and my mom are so close.
Sure.
But my Greek grandmother put it so hard on my mom, and my mom was the oldest who they went hard at, so my mom pushed it away.
Yeah.
My mom rebelled against it, where my dad was just like, Sicilians are better, it's better than regular Italy.
Yeah.
He
And
was,
that's what it's for me. I'm way more Jewish, but my mom grew up Jewish. They told her you could either have a bat mitzvah or a sweet 16, and she chose a sweet 16, and it was like, that was the end.
Okay.
So my mom backed off the Jewish heritage, which I'm more so, and my dad leaned into the Italian heritage.
Okay.
And so I had this real skewed thing where I'm like, I'm Italian.
Are they together still?
No.
Okay.
Super divorced.
Okay.
Super
Me too.
divorced. Could not be more divorced.
My parents were divorced when I was 5.
When I was a baby.
Okay, that's
Yeah,
why
yeah,
we're
yeah.
in the business we're in.
Of
That's
course.
exactly. So you joke around about you're a theater kid.
Yeah.
Okay, now we're going to get into this. So this episode, everybody, which is really cool and unique because that's what Paul's best is. We're talking the best of with what the guest knows and likes. And I have mixed things about Broadway.
Sure. Please, me too.
Right? Like
Yeah.
sometimes I'm like, this is awesome. Other times I'm like, there's no reason for this song right now. You know?
Sure.
But we're going to be talking about the best Broadway shows that both of us have seen. We could even get into some that we didn't like, but we're ultimately going to talk about the best. But you were doing theater in school, like young?
Yeah, I mean, I was when I was in kindergarten. I mean, I remember wanting to be
wow.
on stage since that age.
Oh, wow,
And
okay.
I had a scene. I was the prince, and I had to say to the princess like, "I love you." And I remember we were young, and it was very popular at the time to like stick a finger in your mouth and go like, "Bleh." And I said, "I love you." I turned to the audience. I was like, "Bleh," like improv,
Laugh.
and huge
Killed.
laugh, huge.
Wait, was that
laugh.
improv?
I mean, it wasn't the script. No, I did it just in the moment.
Dude.
Yo, and it was,
Dude.
I remember it. And I
That
just,
must have crushed.
yeah.
How old are you?
I'd be kindergarten. What
I mean,
what
so
is
what are you,
that?
6?
It's something.
5 or 6, and you did that?
Yeah.
Dude, they were like, this kid got chops.
So I was doing it every chance. I was in every show every year of school, and then went to college for musical theater. So I was obsessed.
Which college did you go to?
University of Miami in Florida.
Oh, wow.
Not great.
Okay, I didn't know, because I know the one in New York, Purchase is a big one, right, or no?
I
Purchase,
think so. There's a lot. I mean, there's a lot of BFA. They do BFAs in comedy now.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah. A couple places.
Oh, I didn't know that.
It's not. I don't think it's a good idea. You couldn't have talked me out of it at that age.
Right.
But I kind of encourage people to just either don't go to college,
Right.
or like figure it out. 4 years. That's a
Yeah.
lot.
Me and my wife are kind of having this discussion now where I'm not going to say it's a fight, but I'm kind of on the fence with colleges where I'm going, look, if you guys know what you want to do, and if you need the credits, okay, like if you're going to be a doctor, lawyer, or like you need a certain thing to go to study, but I'm like, going to college, and look, it's easier for us to say because that's the
course,
thing.
no
we
one's
have a
ever
skill,
asked.
and we also have
Except
a skill.
on podcasts.
right. But we have a skill, right? Like
Yeah.
we can like you doing that thing where putting your finger as like gross as an improv thing. When I was 12 years old, I was 11 years old, the first time I went to Italy with my dad, brother, and grandmother. We went in 1989 to Italy, and we were on a tour bus. And the tour guide's name was Romano. And Romano would talk to the bus, and he had that accent. If you look over here, the olive oil, right, fields. So I, as a little boy, get on and I grab the mic while everybody's sitting on the bus and I do an impression of him. And my dad goes, I should have known that. Because after he was done talking,
Yeah.
he would always say, huh? So I did that, and
That's so
and I start killing on the bus, and it's like there's an instinct. So I think people like us, and not to pat ourselves on the back, but there was something there, whether it was for attention because of our divorced parents.
Of course.
So when I tell my son or daughter, like, be careful with college, I obviously want them to go get an education and feel that, but we're not going to go for like a degree that doesn't make sense when you don't know what you want to do. My dad actually did something really smart. My dad, 4 years after he graduated high school, and then for 4 years didn't go to college. He worked at a restaurant. He saved up. He bought himself a first car. Then after 4 years, he went to the University of New Mexico, then transferred to Iona, and was all A's because he goes, I was locked in.
Yeah.
He goes, because I was locked. Because when you're 18, dude, I'm telling you right now, I don't know your personality, and this did happen to me, unfortunately, at a junior school. But if I'm 18 years old and I go to University of Miami, I'm coming home bad.
Yeah.
I'm coming home.
Yeah.
It's going to be no work. It's going to be partying. It's going to be trying to girls, drinking.
I wish I had partied more. I wish I had taken. I like went there and I was like, I gotta get so good, and I just didn't have enough life. I think a year off. What's the worst that can happen to take a year off? As long as you have a kid who does stuff. As long as you like figure out, like, go do something, send him to another country. I mean, there's so like the idea of like putting all that money in before you've even taken in the world, before you understand anything. It doesn't make sense.
To get out, like, I've heard of people say, oh, my son or daughter just got out of Notre Dame. They're in debt and they can't get a job, and you're going like, that's a good how?
Especially the AI jobs are changing. When I was in acting school, it felt like by the time I got out, social media was starting to take off so much.
Yeah.
And they just taught you the older way of doing things, and it's like, that's over. They taught you about going for auditions and casting directors, and you get out and you're like, no one can get an audition. And you're like, that's kind of what I studied for, was to be given the chance. It's like, that's not how we do it anymore.
Right.
You would have been better off building, a social media account, and we'll just give you the role.
Yeah, it's funny how like your manager or agent could just say, hey, make a video on your iPhone and send it to this monster director. And you're going like, that's right.
I mean, it's the opportunities that are now being put my way, even just auditions. I go like, you should have called me 10 years ago. I would have really worked on this. Now I'm phoning it in now. Yeah. You should have gotten me before. Same guy, better actor.
Better actor.
Now I got jokes. I'll do it, sure.
Yeah, I'm going to go in my closet, close the door for sound, do a quick little voiceover.
Yes.
No, I was literally doing that. They're like, hey, you want to do this voiceover? And I'm like, where do I got to go? I'm traveling. They're like, no, just do it on your thing and send it. I go, like, they don't care about it. They're like, no. And I'm like, all right.
And then you know someone who works on the thing, and you're like, well, oh, yeah, of course, that's how it works.
And there's so many streaming things now that you can know somebody on a show and get, like, it's not like, I recently heard Charlie Murphy talking about, Charlie Murphy, rest his soul, talking about Eddie Murphy. And he goes, like, Eddie was like, because Eddie's like my all-time. Yeah. And he said, like, Eddie would just be like, because there were 4 stations. It was 2, 5, 7, and like whatever, like 11, or it was like, and NBC was like the main, and and he was like, and Charlie Murphy was like, and they were not putting a lot of black people on TV at the time, and Eddie Murphy's like, I'm gonna be on that thing, and when it was like so hard, but it was like now. They're like, dude, there's a streaming thing. And you're like, I didn't even know that's a service.
Of course.
You know what I mean? So
I mean, I just did the Tonight Show, which was, of course, cool. But you go like, you just reflect off what the Tonight Show was.
Right.
In a way where it was like you could make a career. Yeah. Or if you couldn't get on, you could. I mean, that's the other side of it. It's like when things are more fractured, nothing can ruin you, and nothing can make you a star.
That's actually
the problem
brilliant.
is you only hear history from the victors, so you only hear the people that got on the Tonight Show and they go, it was amazing back then. I'm like, but then if you read about the comedy story, you read about the one guy who got blacklisted and killed himself, and you go like, it's not all. It wasn't all good for everybody.
No, and you're right. Now it's almost like it's this abyss, right? And you're just gonna carve out your thing in it. I mean, this is the first time I think in history that you could sell out an arena and people don't know who you are.
That's nuts.
Dude, this is like, because back in the day, I remember like, I think Andrew Dice Clay might have been the first person to sell out Madison Square Garden as a comic. And people were like, everybody was like, what? Now you just like look and you're like, it's like a comedy club schedule.
I think about like things on stage. Like I can reference Seinfeld as a comedian everyone knows.
Yeah.
I can't do Sebastian Maniscalco and know that everyone will know who I'm talking about. And it's like was the #1 touring comedian at some point. Yeah. But it's a lot of people do, but not enough that it's like nothing is universal, really.
It's funny you used his as an example because I did too. I think he sold out the Garden 4 times, and people were like, "Who?"
Yeah.
It's like, no, we're in a whole thing where it's just carve out your own thing. Your fans will come to you.
Yeah.
But let's talk about this. Let's get into the show. Let's talk about what you came to talk about. So when it comes to Broadway shows, I guess the first question I'll ask you is, which is the first one? You have your best. I'm sure you have your best.
For sure.
But which one which blew you away? The first one.
I'm pretty sure it was Lion King. Lion King was just like the show. And I think I saw it probably within like the first year. So in the zeitgeist of it all. And it was incredible. Yeah, it was puppets. It was. I knew that show. It would be hard to see it again now because I know those songs so well that I'm like bored of hearing them. I'm like, oh, I know how this goes.
Yeah.
But it was incredible when I saw it.
I saw it with my girlfriend now, who's my wife. We saw it.
Wow.
And I remember when they made the giraffes out of people. And like they were like the people were there, and I was just like with the music. I was like, "Oh, this is a whole other thing."
Yeah,
this is a whole other thing. So I thought that's definitely one that you're like that. You can't watch The Lion King on Broadway and leave and go, "That sucked." I don't see how you could.
It's one of the greatest movies ever. I mean, it's one of those things I've seen so many times. Again, like I'm bored of it, but I'm like and it is based on Hamlet, and I'm like, well, at some point we're just gonna lose Hamlet, and people will be like, "This is actually based on The Lion King." Oh, this is a ripoff of The Lion King. Oh, the son avenges his father. That's The Lion King. Is actually the original ones who did it.
Funny.
Eventually, because Hamlet was stolen from something else. We just don't know the name of that shit.
Yeah, because after a certain amount of years, it's over. Yeah. Everybody hate my wife says, and I know this is about the best, but everybody says Cats was horrific. Is that?
I just have never loved that show. I mean, it's more like kind of songs. There's a light story throughout, but Lion King has like a narrative. You cry. You cry at The Lion King. You cry when he's in the sky.
So, when you're with your girl, is she into the things you're into?
Musical theater has been a gradual process. She.
That's so funny that you're the one who's like, "Hey, you want to?" Well,
there's ones where she goes like, "It's just corny that they burst into song," and I'm like, "Hey, you were raised religious, okay? So like, don't talk to me about corny." She grew up with like all the She grew up a Chabad, which is like a branch of Hasidism.
Okay.
Very.
Oh, okay.
She listened to such little music and doesn't listen to music that her Spotify Wrapped says you did not listen to enough music for us to come up with results. Music is not a part of her life.
Wow.
In any real sense.
Sounds like Amish.
Yeah, I mean, to a degree. It's an intense religion, and so she likes like some Jewish songs, and but I think music in general and musical theater. She loved Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat, which is like, it's a little bit biblical. It's
sure.
A little corny, a little. So she does like some.
Okay.
But sometimes I'll bring her, like she saw Into the Woods by Stephen Sondheim, and very callously will go, it's terrible. And that to me, that's like if someone said Carlin was terrible, and you want to be like, okay, that's not a true statement. What you're saying is not true. You don't have to like it.
Right.
You can't say that though.
Right.
So we do have some arguments. We do have some arguments, but she's grown. It's grown on her.
You have to Jordan wasn't that good.
Yeah, exactly. And you just go. I understand it might not be your taste,
right?
But this is a genius,
right. So you say, okay, so Lion King. So if I was to say to you, if I was to call you up and be like, dude, I got family coming in.
Yeah.
And they want to be blown away on Broadway. I'll go to anything you tell me to go to. But they love Broadway, whether musical or not. They just love plays.
Yeah.
What advice are you giving me to tell them?
I'm saying I'm going Wicked. I'm going Wicked to play it safe. Lion King, if we're talking like young kids there, Lion King can really appeal.
Okay.
But Wicked is a good story, good song, still good cast.
You know what's funny? My older brother, shout out to my older brother Christian, he buys tickets for me and my wife Stacy to go to Wicked, and my wife is super psyched.
Yeah.
And I'm not.
Sure.
And dude, we walked out and I was like, I gotta be honest, that was awesome.
Yeah.
It was because the thing about Wicked, which I didn't know going in, I didn't know going into Wicked, it was like another story of the Wizard of Oz.
Yeah,
so like
yeah.
I was just like, what? They were like, oh, it's about the sister. I didn't really kind of, and then I'm like, oh, this is kind of like a whole other kind of cool way of getting into the Wizard of Oz or understanding the Wizard of Oz.
Yeah.
And I was like, but you're right. It was kind of cool how one sister you think is the bad one.
It's a good story. It was based on a book that did really well. So it's like it's deep. It's
visually
thought out.
too really good. One thing I gotta tell you, because I was like, oh, he's coming on to talk about plays or whatever on Broadway, and I gotta mention this one. My wife is big with Harry Potter.
Sure.
No. Let me rephrase that. My wife is mentally ill with Harry Potter to the point where when I go to bed, okay, every night. This is every night. So like I go to bed later because we're on a comic schedule.
Yeah.
My wife is basically almost you could guarantee my wife is sleeping at 10 or a little after 10 out. Every night I go to the bedroom, one of the Harry Potter movies is playing on a loop every night. But this is for years. I know everything.
Yeah.
Right? Now my daughter the other night, she's watching Harry Potter. I mean, from when he's little to the whole thing. And don't get me wrong, we would go to the movies when we were dating. So she's like, it's on Broadway. We got to go to the Broadway. It's on Broadway. And dude, I can't believe the visual, like the story's great.
Yeah.
The visual effects of what they can do on a stage. They actually made the stage kind of like, like when you watch a movie and the person's on drugs and they're like, it's like wavy. I'm like, how is
there a scene Harry tries shrooms?
I'm like,
he's like, this is better than magic.
Have you seen the play or not?
I read it.
Okay. Dude, I'm sitting in the show. I'm in the theater.
Yeah.
And they made this like whoa sound that like you could almost see the pulsating of the sound. I don't know how they did it.
Yeah.
And the stage, dude, the stage was just like waving. Like the stage, like my eyes are watching this like, and I'm going, it was obviously an illusion. I don't know how they did it. I don't know if it was the craziest thing.
Sure.
And then it went back to normal, but it was almost like when evil was coming. Then they had like the Dementors flying all over the theater. And I'm literally going, this is like an absolute masterpiece of a production. Forget how you feel about the story.
Sure.
I'm not even talking about, like, acting was great, of course, and the story was great, but the production. And that's what made me go, you know what? People need to really, because the one play I hated, and I hope you don't, but I also hated it because I was dating a girl I hated.
That makes sense.
So I'm sitting there but it was Rent, and it was a long time ago, and my face is down. She stunk. It was horrible, and I just like I associated it with her. So like the whole thing was like, and so that kind of put this thing in my like a bad taste in my mouth. But I got to tell you, the Harry Potter thing, man, with the visual effects really blew me away.
Yeah. I'm sure the way you describe it makes me want to see it. Because I've seen the visual effects fail. I saw Spider-Man, which I had a friend, my roommate at the time. He went to college, not musical theater conservatory, but did some. But he had an acrobatic background, and so suddenly he was in a Broadway show, filling in because Spider-Man #3 fell and his foot got caught between two things and exploded. And,
oh wait a minute, I heard about that. That was like on the news.
Well, he went on the news the next day, and I would do anything to find out how much Disney paid him because they were involved. Because he's on the news being like, "Yeah, it was my mistake." My mistake, my bad, and you're like, you got a fat check, but it ran the previews. They extended the previews, and they extended it so long that reviewers reviewed it anyway because they said, "Look, you're trying to get money out of people. We have to review it." It got slammed. U2, I think, wrote the songs. Maybe
I didn't know that.
Some of the songs or all the songs. There was like a mix of pop singers, but
if my memory is correct, weren't there two incidents?
Oh yes, there were several. I mean,
he fell off of there was like malfunctions all over the place.
Malfunctions and they were trying to change things and it just wasn't good. And they do that. These sweeping. I saw in Toronto. I was there and I saw Lord of the Rings the musical. They tried to fit all three books into this one, and there were so many tech issues. Sometimes the show would run 5 hours long, and it was technically incredible but bad. So the fact if Harry Potter pulls it off, then doesn't always work.
Harry Potter I put in one of the best ones I've seen. Lion King I put in one of the best. And I got to be honest, like Wicked, and like the cool thing is now that I know what it is, and I don't like when sometimes it breaks into song when I just don't think it's necessary. But then I also got to tell myself, Paul, you're at a musical.
Sure.
So they're going to.
Sure.
Like, because I get so into the
That's
story.
like watching stand-up being like, could you take this part seriously for a second, please?
Right.
Be serious.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I was like, okay, no. We're at a musical.
Yeah.
They're supposed to do that now because that's what a musical is. So then. But
I just like guy watching musical. Every time they burst a song, he's like, again with the singing.
Can he just talk to her? Can he just talk? I think this problem could be resolved if they have a discussion.
Yeah.
You know. So then, right before the world shut down with COVID, we saw To Kill a Mockingbird with Ed Harris.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it wasn't Jeff Daniels. It was Ed Harris because it was Jeff Daniels for a while. Then Ed Harris took over.
How was that?
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Fantastic. And not a musical, which was I was like, oh, I'm like kind of watching a movie on stage, which I thought was really cool. But to anybody watching this, like if you're like, oh, Broadway, I'm not. Listen, I joke about it before with that rent thing. I got to tell you something. You come to New York City, you go to a nice dinner with who you want to be with and go to that thing, and you go to a nice play. Dude, it's kind of killer.
I feel like they could advertise better than they do. Like some of these plays, like For the Boys. Like I saw this Glengarry Glen Ross, but I saw the one before that on Broadway with Liev Schreiber, and like that was like it was Liev Schreiber and maybe Pacino. It was like, and that was like For the Boys. And like when Liev Schreiber came out at the end, and he goes, "You fucking cunt," and it was like. Yeah. And it's like, I just wish Broadway would get some guys in there to be like, no, this can be like the badass thing.
Dude.
Like, get them in with the plays. They exist.
Dude, like, that's awesome. Like, what about getting, like, Tom Hardy,
Yeah.
right? Or Tom Hardy or, like, you know, somebody like that, Gary Oldman, and just make, like you said, like a badass.
Yeah.
Like, you can do
can.
that. Like, you can have, like, a sick scene where it's like, oh, my God, like, and you're sitting there live watching these brilliant actors.
Yeah.
And, like, yeah, that's why I think...
It just has this veneer. I think Broadway just has this veneer of, like, of queerness, which is fine and for women, but I'm like, I just know a lot of guys where I'm like, you would like this.
Right.
I'm not going to bring you to Wicked first.
Right.
But let me get you in with Glengarry.
Right.
You saw the movie.
It's funny if like your friend says like queer or calls you gay, and then like you take them and they just burst out crying.
Yeah,
They're
yeah.
like, this is amazing.
Death of a Salesman. I saw that with Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Oh,
you know,
wow.
I mean, take any guy. Death of a Salesman feels like another, like a guy watching and being like, "That's my dad.
Yeah,
That's my dad."
Dude, anytime. That's the one thing I've learned about men.
Yeah.
Especially in comedy. Anytime something reminds of the father, whether your father was great or not, you just can see. I did this bit. I did. You could see their face. I swear to God, I did this joke in my last special where if you don't root for the same sports teams your dad did or your parents did, they messed up. And dude, and people start clapping.
That's so
And
funny.
I go, because if you want your father to be in pain when you're watching a game and you're happy, I go, something happened. And dude, when I tell you, like, people go nuts, but then I'll see like a couple people like just like looking at their drink, and I'm going, oh, dude, they had a thing. The father and the son had a thing. Because there's like because if you want that, I'm going, because my son, thank God, like my son and daughter, like we root for all the same.
Sure.
Like, oh, you know, like you bring them in. They inherit. I said they inherit your pain and your happiness.
Mm-hmm.
But when it's the other way, but I could imagine somebody sitting at a Broadway play and just watching and going like, it's still my dad.
Yeah. See, I'm not a big sports guy, so if I had kids, the equivalent would be like if they don't love Stephen Sondheim. And I'd be like, this is not an Andrew Lloyd Webber family. Get that cat shit out of here.
You're just like instead of like me looking at my kid watching the Giants, you're just like, you take your kid to a play and you're just eyeing them to see.
Are you going to stand?
What did you think of that number? I thought it was fantastic. That's awesome, though. What else you got? What else you like?
So I saw in 8th grade, I grew up in Maryland, and we did a New York trip, an overnight trip to New York. And Lion King was sold out, I guess. Mm-hmm. So they took us to see the producers. And they did it because I think the teachers, they grew up when the producers came out, the movie. And I think the musical is a lot more explicit than the movie is. And so they had to write a letter to every parent just going, we are so sorry. We did not know how how much cursing or sex there was. Basically, we're watching it, and as eighth graders, I was like shocked that our teachers brought us to this, because there's a number where he's stooping, I think that's the word he says, but I think he says fucking at some point, all the old ladies so he can get their money to produce the show.
Wow.
There's the huge Nazi numbers. There's Springtime for Hitler is the show.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like, it's over the top, stereotypical gay, but still gay in a way that, like, I went to not a conservative middle school, but certainly not this.
Sure.
And it was so amazing, because you're sitting there like, I can't believe our teachers took us to this. You're looking at Mr. Hollander, and you see he looks like, oh no. Oh no! And you can't leave. You can't take 100 kids out of a Broadway show.
No,
it costs probably an arm and a leg to get us all there.
Were the parents nuts or no?
Not my parents. My parents were chill about it. I'm sure there were some that were upset, but it felt like, I cannot believe this is a school trip right now. We're all watching this together.
Wow.
I mean, magical. Magical.
That must have been, and especially for you who ended up becoming a comic, you must have just been loving that. Like,
it's that age. It's that age. I mean, I wish I'd seen more stand up at that age, but it was like being 15 and seeing Ralphie May talking about fingering techniques, and I was like, this feels like, I cannot believe this is being said out loud.
Yeah.
In a room full of people.
Did you grow up very like where it was like no cursing and no
divorce? Dad's was like a curse. I mean, cursed all the time. He was like owned his own business, has a temper, and he'd be on the phone just cursing like a madman.
Yeah.
And then mom's was like stricter. My stepfather was the strict one. He wouldn't let us watch The Simpsons.
Oh, wow.
My dad, there was nothing I could not watch at my father's from the time I was 6.
And you had a good relationship with him?
At the time.
Yes.
Yeah. Looking back, there's a lot of things where you're like, oh, the thing where I thought you loved me, you're just irresponsible.
Right. Oh, dude.
But I could watch, I could watch anything, and it was so. And all the kids wanted to go to my house too, because we could watch whatever.
Anything. Yeah. That's my dad. My dad, like, it was in my first bio. Like, my grandmother and mother were like, you cannot take him at 10 years old to see Eddie Murphy Raw in the theater in Yonkers, and he did.
Yeah.
And that's what I was like locked,
That's crazy.
But my dad would do, like, he would take us to movies he wanted to see. And I remember one time I was like, we got to go see Who Framed Roger Rabbit. Who Framed Roger Rabbit? And like, as soon as he realized, like, we're in the theater.
Yeah.
And as soon as he realized it was cartoons with real actors, he just goes, and my whole thing is like, I'm upset because I know my dad is hating it, and I'm watching it, and like, I think after that he took us to like Goodfellas, something like that.
Sure.
But he was just watching Who Framed Roger Rabbit and was so disgusted.
That generation can't handle cartoons. Like, we're different. We were raised with adult cartoon and South Park. I got my dad to see an anime movie once, Cowboy Bebop. I was really into anime and manga.
Okay.
And I mean, I bet if he, on his deathbed, he said, remember when I did that for you? I saw that cartoon movie. I went to a movie theater and I watched a cartoon.
Yeah.
And it's like, for him, it was unfathomable to watch a cartoon as an adult.
Yeah. I remember my dad, me and my older brother talked to him to go see Dark Knight. We'll get back to that. We'll get back to the plays in a second. Dark Knight, and like, I thought Dark Knight was one of the best ever.
One of the greatest.
One of the greatest. And like, I remember afterwards, he was like, yeah. That was visually, I haven't seen anything like that, but I could tell he was just like, it's a generational thing. Generational thing. Like, when I think as soon as they see costumes and makeup and costumes, I think they just because they grew up with, in their defense, and I know you have to open your mind, but they're watching like what, I don't know if it's John Wayne, but like Charles Bronson and these things. And then all of a sudden you see a good actor with ears, and you're like,
but it's like, it's more just being like, they watch James Bond, and I'm like, okay, her name is Pussy Galore. That's a little corny. That's a little insane.
Yes, that is insane.
Pussy
Galore is actually, looking back at it, is wild.
It's out of this world. and all of them had that name, and they were like, we're watching men's shows.
And I love the pitch on that. What if her name is Pussy Galore? They're like, dude.
That's
it.
I went to school with a Pussy Galore.
I remember in, what was it, with Mike Myers.
Austin Powers.
Yeah, A Lot of Vagina.
A Lot of Vagina.
Dude,
I mean... those first 2 movies,
dude, those were
spectacular.
What movies have they made? Or what are the best movies they made on Broadway? Like, movies that are like, were like a temporary Broadway one.
Movie musicals?
Yeah.
Like that you watch in the theater?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I think Wicked was shockingly good. I really didn't think it would be good.
No, I mean the opposite.
Oh, the opposite.
I mean a movie
that turned
they
to
were
a
like,
musical.
let's do. Oh, they did Mamma Mia, right? Or that was
That was
opposite?
the other way around.
Oh, the way around.
It was one of the earliest shows I saw, Mamma Mia, and I had such a good time.
Okay, so you know what's cool is my wife. We were in London, and my wife and I have a son and a daughter.
Yeah.
So my son goes, Chelsea's playing soccer, and I don't really know much about soccer, but he's like, Chelsea is like a huge. So I'm like, all right. So my wife was like, all right, take him to the Chelsea game, and I'm gonna take her to Mamma Mia, and we're gonna go get tea. And they went to see Mamma Mia in London, and loved it. But that was a play first. That's a musical before the movie.
Yeah.
Have they done it the other way around?
Yeah, they've done it the other way around. It's hasn't always been successful. Like they made Bullets Over Broadway into a musical. That was the Woody Allen movie.
Okay.
I'm trying to think what they definitely have. They did The Notebook. They turned it into
they did
a musical. It feels they're doing more and more recently. Okay. And I don't think it's like a positive sign. It's kind of like,
okay,
you saw that movie, you should check this out.
Right. Yeah.
The Mrs. Doubtfire, they just made a musical. Devil Wears Prada, they just made into a musical. They're all doing fine. None of them are considered like greats.
Yeah. I guess it can be a bad thing because if you force it, like some things probably don't. Oh, what about Frozen?
Frozen, they did that.
Frozen was how was the play? Was it good?
I didn't see it, but it's not open anymore. You know, I think it's just tough. I mean, Aladdin. So they've done a lot of like Lion King, where they make into a musical. I think the problem with making a movie into a musical is like musicals are different, and you need to change stuff to make it work.
Yep.
And if you know the movie so well, and you go to see the musical and they change a huge plot point, you're going to be like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah.
So you're kind of constrained, I think, in order to make something good.
I think I saw Les Mis too.
Les Mis, sure.
So what is your number one, if you could only go to one play the rest of your life? There's everything is off forever except one. What would it be?
Honestly, it's a musical. It's called Falsettos. It doesn't it's Jewish. The opening song is four Jews in a room bitching, but it really is about like.
Is it a comedy?
Yeah, it's funny, but then AIDS hits. It's like Rent, but everyone's Jewish. I know that's why you didn't like Rent. You said not enough Jews.
That's what I said. I go, we need more Jews and Italians. Can we get some Sicilians in the house?
But it's one of those things where like I don't even know if it's like the musical resonates with me the most, or I like listen to it at just like the perfect time in my life. Something intense happened the same week that I listened, and I think,
dude, I'm going to tell you something right now. What you just said is brilliant.
Yeah.
It's about the time in your life. And I'm going to give you a perfect example of that, okay? And yes, I will do a whole other show on best concerts, so we're not doing that. But Chris Italia, who owns The Stand in New York City, he loves Oasis to the point where it's like not a problem, but let's just say he went to both at Wembley in London. He went to both in New York. He went to both in California, and he was debating on going to Mexico City. But when they were broken up, he would go see Noel Gallagher by himself, and then he would go see Liam Gallagher by himself.
Wow.
But he said, Slide Away was a song of Oasis that when he heard it at the time in his life, he needed it. So that made things, and I really believe with anything, whether it's a movie. Now I'm 10 years old, I'm in the movie theater, and Eddie Murphy has done, I believe, Beverly Hills Cop. He was way past SNL. He was done Beverly Hills Cop, maybe 48 Hours, all these big movies. And now my dad takes me in this movie theater, and I'm 10 years old, and I love him, and I love comedy, and I tell stories, and I needed to tell stories without knowing it because I was able to do it where people liked me because my parents got divorced. So I would move a lot. I needed friends. And now here I am, and I'm watching this man. Didn't understand everything, but I'm watching him. Basically, in my mind, I was just like, I remember how it feels right now. And I think now to this day, he's my guy. Like he's everything to why I do stand up and why I do that. So when you saw that play, and the laughing and whatever hit you, and whatever's going on, you're going, this is it for me. So when that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
The moment in your life, because whether you believe it or not, or know it or knew it at the time, you needed that. Something in that gave you something you needed.
Yeah.
You needed something.
If I have a kid, if their life, something horrible happens to them, I'm going to put on my favorite album just to really sink it into their brain. Be like, now you're going to like. I just think there's a period of your life that you just go back to where nothing's going to no new piece of media is ever going to touch that nostalgia. The brain, it's closed. It closes off.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the things, like with my girlfriend, is she didn't grow up with that music thing. So it's all always going to be like a little bit newer. It doesn't connect. And for whatever reason, these super Jewish, I think they're called klezmer bands,
Yeah.
you know, it just will touch that thing in her heart.
Then that's, yeah.
Yeah.
And she's probably at the point now where it's really going to be hard to break that, right?
Yeah, I'm trying. I'll report back.
What you try?
It seeps in. It's deep.
Yeah.
And also you took time. Like when I got into musical theater in high school, I bought the CDs, so I had a physical thing. I read the lyrics along with it alone in my room. So sometimes I go like, oh, I don't like any new musicals. It's like, because you haven't sat. You haven't sat with them. You haven't listened to it to fall asleep. You're too busy with shit.
One thing I didn't see, you're gonna probably think I'm nuts. I didn't see it on the thing. I didn't see the movie. I did not see Hamilton.
Sure, Hamilton's one of those like.
You didn't love it. I could tell.
No. I
did.
like it. I have more like, I'm like, do we need to be like sucking off the founding fathers this much? Like sometimes it's like the glorification of the past.
Okay.
It rubs me the wrong way sometimes, where I just go like, it wasn't all this fun.
Right.
Not everyone. There were no heroes. There's no.
Right.
It feels religious sometimes, but I think it's a great musical. If you have a personal relationship with rap, like you really like, rap.
Yeah.
I think it rubs a lot of people the wrong way because the corniness of musical theater interferes with the rap in a way that they go, this is terrible. This is bad. This is bad rap. And I don't think that's true.
Okay.
I don't think that's true. I've heard just people speak with such viciousness about how bad the rap is in Hamilton. And I'm like, it is musical theater rap. And if you look at old musical theater, like The Music Man or there is patter songs, they would call it, from like opera, where people talk really fast and it rhymes. And I go like, this is all related. This is all like cousins and whatever. But I see people talk about Hamilton and be like, or Lin-Manuel Miranda, like, this is bad. And I go, it's just different.
Yeah.
And I understand that to a degree. I grew up, I liked rap growing up, but like Eminem, I liked theatrical rap, so it feels even closer.
So you're not going to listen to like a Nas or a Biggie.
Nas is exactly what I was thinking.
Nas is like somebody that's Queen's rap. It's so layered and different. So you're not going to watch Hamilton. You're not going.
And by the way, Hamilton, Lin-Manuel Miranda, like one song is a mirror of the 10 Crack Commandments, but like in the world of Hamilton, the 10 Duel something.
Oh, okay, from Biggie,
Yeah, and it's so like, again, if you don't love musical theater, it's just going to feel like someone invaded the art form that you do love and like made it like corny and cheap. If you love musical theater, like, oh, this is a really cool new way to express musically. I think it's fun. I think it's brilliantly
you gotta take
written.
it for what it is.
Yeah, but I do think you would dig it.
Okay.
Yeah, and I do think that's like something to show your kids. Make sure to tell your kids like, hey, they don't really accurately capture the horrors of slavery in this, but enjoy enjoy the story. Pretend it's a made up story, like a Marvel thing. But it's a good show. That would be another that I'd recommend.
Okay, so you go. Okay, no, that's good.
I haven't seen it live. I did see the taping that's on Disney Plus, but it is good. It is good.
So that was actually the Disney Plus thing was actually on.
They filmed it, yeah.
Oh, okay. So it's not like a movie.
They'll make a movie someday, but I mean, it has made, I think, over $1 billion worldwide. So they're taking their time.
Now, all right. So we discussed a lot of the ones that you liked. I'm trying to think of what. Yeah, I saw Glengarry Glen Ross, obviously. Recently, because that just came out. Do you anticipate any new good ones that are coming that you know about or no?
There's a show called Bat Boy that's coming out soon, and it's like, again, it's a cool musical where I'm like, oh, this is what you want to take people who don't like musical theater.
It's called Bat Boy.
Bat Boy, and it's based on, it was an old like what are some of the like the shit papers at the grocery store? What do you call those? Where it's like, it's bullshit. It's like aliens.
Tabloids.
Tabloids.
Yeah.
And there was a popular one about a bat boy that had been found in a cave, and so it's about that bat boy.
Okay.
And it's like they try to bring him into the family and make him normal, and then their daughter wants to sleep with him, and then they cast him out, and it gets very violent and bloody. And
shit.
but it's like, it's fun. It's rock and roll.
That's wild.
Musical theater rock and roll. And I think if I'm pretty sure it came out. I could be wrong, but around September 11th, and it was just like there was a crop of musicals that came out around then where they closed super early because just Broadway was fucked after that.
Sure.
Another one around that era called Reefer Madness, which is really good. That I think they just did an LA run. I hope it comes to Broadway. That's about like the marijuana propaganda, and it's imagining that as a musical. So there's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So Bat Boy, I think will be one to see. I'm hoping.
How did you? I just want to parlay this because I want to figure that out. You're obviously have so much passion about this. There's probably nobody better to talk to about these things. How did you get into stand-up?
I mean, it was just like I hit a wall as a singer in college. Like I just got in my own way. Looking back, I'm like, I could have done this differently. But you go to New York and you see the best of the best singers.
Yeah.
And you're like genetically, I'm not good enough.
You just start writing jokes.
Yeah. I mean, essentially. And then I started acting, and then I wrote a play, and in the play I talked to the audience, and everyone kept going like, that part where you talked to the audience was really good.
Oh, okay.
And then like gradually,
it kind of goes back to the kindergarten.
Yeah,
It's
100%.
Yeah, it's
100%.
Yeah.
And now it's like I'm doing a show tonight where I have like I do crowd work, but it's specifically for theater kids, and I like talk to them about their old plays. What was the thing they did in high school that would be super offensive to do now? I have one of them up to sing. I'm having his name's Alex Moffat. He used to be on SNL.
Yeah.
I talk to him about his theater kid days, and he sings and I sing, and it's kind of like re-exploring. How do I bring this new stand-up world to this old passion?
Well, what I was gonna, do you in your regular stand-up? Do you have any bits where you'll sing?
I have little bits here and there.
Just to show the crowd, like, hey.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, one of the reliefs of stand-up was to not be stressed about, like, if my voice was there. And now I am exploring a little bit here and there.
Well,
now that I have my stand-up, if I'd done that in the beginning, you know what the comics would have said. They said, shut the fuck up. It's really tough. I think Mateo Lane still has the best. Do you remember he had an opener?
His opener was
one of the great openers for the books.
He just sang and he goes, and that's how I came out to my dad. I mean, that's as good of an opener, I think, as I've that's up there. That one is great. My
favorite openers are where for the first 30 seconds the audience is like, oh no. What is this?
Yes.
So this is awkward. What is this? He's singing, and then boom, and they go, "Oh my God, you got me!"
Yes,
you got me.
Yeah, he's singing, and you're going. I remember he went up and he would just go like, yeah.
And that's how I came out to my father.
And that's how I came out to my father. And I remember when I saw him do that at the stand, and in my mind, I'm going like, all right, I'm going, all right, so this is either a gay dude showing off his voice. Or a really good comic, and it was the latter.
Yeah,
well, it was actually both.
Yeah.
But no, he's super funny, super good dude. But that's a great opener. Another great opener I heard. I just remember I just find openers
openers are my favorite.
I come out very much like I don't come right out and the first thing I say into a thing.
Yeah.
But this one guy, Jim McHugh, had a funny opener where he goes, guys, he goes, I lost 61 pounds, and 61 was a perfect number. And everybody's like this. And he goes, I just started stalking a jogger. and it would just happen quick.
That's so good.
I didn't get why he would just say that. Oh, he goes, I lost 61 pounds. And then I'm just sitting there and he goes, oof. And the way he did it, and I was a younger comic, he goes, I'm stalking this jogger. And it just broke the ice and also said, it's so silly and stupid, yet this guy's funny.
Yeah.
And you're just going in. I love a good opener out of the gate.
It's amazing. I mean, Daniel Simonson, have you seen the one? He put it online where he's wearing a shirt and the shirt's like red here and then kind of a brown below. And he goes, I've been trying to wear less red. And it's like, it's crazy. And you're like, I mean, because it's confusing, and then you realize it, and man,
that's the beauty of what we do.
Openers are openers, and when you headline, eventually, you don't need to earn the audience. You don't need to. The audience likes you already.
Well, that's what I mean. They paid to see you, so you could come out and greet them and what's going on and stuff like that.
How we doing? But openers in a club, man, nothing better. What was his name? He died. Bigger comic. Oh fuck, big family. he would take the mic stand. He'd go, "Let me get this out of the way so you can see me."
Oh, John Panette?
No, but
Rest his
similar weight.
Louis Anderson.
Louis Anderson.
Okay.
Louis
Thank you,
Anderson would
Mike.
do that.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a comic. I was talking about this on another podcast recently, Chris Crespo, where his arms aren't like fully formed, and so it takes him a long time to get the mic out of the stand.
Oh, wow.
A long time.
Oh, wow.
And then he goes, "Don't worry, I put my pants on just like you guys, 8 hours at a time." And it's just like,
that's
man,
good.
just
That's great.
I'm in. I'm 100% in.
That's great. I remember I worked with Louis Anderson, rest his soul, and we were at Levity, and afterwards he's like. He goes, "You're really talented," and then he was like, "Call me. We'll talk about jokes." And that was when he was doing that show. But that was a guy that did, you know, it's funny when you work with these legends of stand up and you find out they're like 40 years in.
Yeah.
40 years. I'm on 25, dude.
I know.
Like a little. My first year, I'm going on like. How long you been doing it?
I think like 11 now.
Yeah, so it's like it just goes and all these great milestones happen. But going back to the Broadway thing, like that, it's such a skill too. It's such a skill to walk on that stage in front of a live. Like that's the craziest thing is like because we can not mess up, but like our talking or saying something, we can say like I'm an idiot for saying it. We could just do whatever. We could do something with the crowd or like, you know, the other night I saw this thing. They have to go out and like, you know, I had my buddy Bill Burr was on in Glengarry, Glen Ross, and he's like every night, like, and they could change, like they could change how they'll say a sentence. They could change how they do a thing, but they have to hit the lines. They have to kind of be perfect. Now throwing singing into that is a whole, because now you're like, oh, I have all this dialogue, and then I gotta belt out this song, and I know people flew from all over the fucking world. Like there are people that fly from Australia.
Those tickets cost more and more.
Yeah, and you're like, okay, there's a family from Australia that heard this show was amazing and heard this and that. That's one that I saw. I did see Aladdin.
Sure, it was good.
The newer one.
The
one that the genie was really good and funny.
Yeah.
But I think for my money, Lion King.
Yeah.
So I think so. Here's what I would say from just my experience, which is a fraction of yours. I would say Lion King. Harry Potter. I did like Glengarry Glen Ross, and yeah, I mean, actually, Wicked. I mean, everything. Yeah, I just didn't like Rent.
Sure.
And it was, and like I said, I was younger. I was in my 20s and early 20s, and I was with a girl that was like really annoying and a rude person.
Sure, that's tough.
We were going, like a blonde lady was going to a cab. And I was dating this girl, and the girl I was dating ran up and like bumped the blonde girl out of the way and just jumped in the cab. And she goes, "We got it." And I just
nightmare.
And I was like, "You are like a horrible, horrible person."
Sure.
And then she liked Rent, so I didn't. So
well, there you go.
And then we ended up never.
Yeah.
So you would say Lion King.
Lion King, yeah. Producers. I saw Wicked when I was young. I saw with Idina Menzel, and that was like very special.
Okay, was that when it first hit Broadway?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think that I saw that one too.
Oh, you did?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that was an exciting time to see that show. And then I saw Glengarry Glen Ross. This was with Liev Schreiber.
Okay, that's the one you like the best.
Yeah, I mean, it was just so cool.
Yeah,
It reminded me of my dad. Like, that's one where the men cursing at business and just being psychopaths.
Well, just being like these like salesmen that like will do anything.
Yeah.
Like come hell or high water, have to get the best leads and have to get it. Yeah, that was a different time. But if you don't mind me asking this, and I don't mean to,
no, please.
Cut it, but are you cool with your dad at all? Like, do you talk?
Yeah, we speak.
Okay.
We speak. He's difficult. He's older. It's like one of those you can't tell if it's dementia or just he's just nuts.
How old's your dad?
He's 71.
Oh, okay.
Just he's tough.
New Yorker?
He's tough. A chunk of his time was here. Chicago, I think, for more than majority.
Chicago. Okay.
So yeah, he took me to a lot of the theater. When I was thinking about the theater, I was like, they did a good job with that. They brought me to a lot of theater, my mom and my dad separately. So I appreciate that.
I look at it like this, I know that there's like flaws in everybody's parents, but the funny thing is like, and not to get too heavy, but like people put so much stock in their parents because they're supposed to be, but they're just.
Of course.
Do you know what I mean? Like I look at that and I was like, people are like, oh, but that's your mom and your dad. Like they need to. And it's like, no, they didn't.
Yeah.
Like they were young. Like my mom had my mom had my brother at 22.
It's crazy.
And she had me at 27.
Insane.
So like by the time my mother was 27 years old, she has like a family with two kids and stuff. And it's like they're kids. And they're young and they could have been like, it's all from like what comes down. So like, unless it's something horrific, trauma,
sure.
Unless it's something horrific, but if it's just a thought process or, you know, a different way of life or stuff like that, at the end of the day, I think you just look at your parents and you take what you said. You're like, you know what? He took me to plays. I take the good from it. You know what I mean?
Well, I think acting, when I wanted to be an actor, I wanted to be in Glengarry, Glen Ross, or anything David Mamet, and like it was a desire to almost play my father in the sense of like I wanted to be able to look at like another guy, be like, go fuck yourself. Like that's what he'd do. And like in a way, I realized eventually with stand up, like, oh, I can like do that experience. Like I can in an act out or expressing or showing something, like be able to portray that. But that's what I think that's one of the reasons I was drawn to theaters. I see Glengarry and I would be like, I want to be like my dad, to be able to go out and be like, you fucking cunt, without having to have a job.
Right. Just go out there, you fucking, without having to go and make sales.
Yeah, exactly.
And have to go to an
Just
office all the time. Just go home and be like, thank you, everybody. You're like, I still did it.
By the way, you fucking cunt, and then everyone applauds, and I bow.
And where else could you say that like that? And everybody goes, that was the way he hit that cunt.
There's no business like show business.
He hit that. There is no business like show business, man. Well, dude, I got to tell you something. This was awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. It was very fun to talk about.
I hope you enjoyed it.
Keep getting the boys to the Broadway. Lead the charge,
dude. I'm gonna definitely, we'll have to work it in. Maybe not a musical first,
yeah.
And then I'll be like, hey guys, there's another one where they sing.
Yeah,
but,
sure.
You know what I mean?
Bachelor party. We hit Broadway. There's strip clubs there too. A Broadway show and a strip club.
Yes. Gianmarco, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for being here. Plug your stuff. Where can people see you? All that.
I got a special out on YouTube called Thief of Joy. Check that out. I tour all over the world, so just find me online at Gianmarco Soresi and listen to my podcast, The Downside.
Gianmarco Soresi, check him out. Super good dude, super funny dude. Guys, for my dates, go to paulvirzi.com. We got tours coming up. We have some theater shows coming up. I'm going to be in Newtown, Connecticut at the Edmontown Hall, December 12th. There's way more dates coming. paulvirzi.com. We're going to Texas. We're going to Tampa. We're going to Toronto. Go to my YouTube channel. Check out my special, which is streaming right now, Reasonable Man. Also, my Netflix special, Nocturnal Admissions, I Now Own It. It's mine. I own all my shit. Go to my YouTube channel. It's on there. Obviously, check out and subscribe to my YouTube for Paul's Best with more great guests like this one. And we will see you next week. Thank you.